There's a popular expression which goes, every accusation is a confession, and it applies perfectly to the MAGA movement. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about a bombshell new report which alleges that a Fox News employee leaked questions to the Trump campaign in advance of a January 2024 Fox News town hall, down to the exact wording. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, for a number of reasons, this is a big damn deal, not the least of which is that it is total hypocrisy if true, because similar allegations were made against ABC by the Trump campaign with no evidence whatsoever, and Donald Trump, MAGA Republicans, and even MAGA-aligned members of the Federal Communications Commission suggested that ABC should be investigated or sued. So keep that in mind as we go through this. CNN broke the story. Trump camp was fed questions for Fox News town hall in advance from person inside network, new book says. Donald Trump's team was given the questions asked by Fox News anchors at an Iowa town hall last January in advance by someone inside the network, according to a forthcoming book in what would be a serious breach of journalism ethics. The report, which Fox says it plans to investigate, comes from the forthcoming book Revenge, the inside story of Trump's return to power, by Alex Eisenstadt, a national political reporter at Politico. Eisenstadt conducted more than 300 interviews for the book and is based on internal memos, notes, and recordings, as well as regular reporting trips to Palm Beach and a flight with Trump aboard his plane in June 2023. In two excerpts shared exclusively with CNN, Eisenstadt describes a deep relationship between Trump and those within Fox News. Eisenstadt reports that in January 2024, then-candidate Trump was set to hold a town hall with Iowa voters moderated by Fox News anchors Bret Baier and Martha MacCallum, though not all of Trump's advisors wanted him to attend. They, quote, were still peeved at Fox, whose coverage they continued to find antagonistic and did not want the former president to do the primetime event, Eisenstadt writes. Quote, but Trump had a good relationship with Baier, they were golf buddies, and wanted to do a sit-down. Now think about that. Trump's advisors are such snowflakes, like the snowflakery within MAGA is unparalleled, that they think Fox News was too antagonistic towards them. Fox, which effectively had to pay an $800 million loyalty tithe because they knowingly signal boosted Donald Trump's lies about the 2020 election in such a defamatory way that they were likely going to lose a defamation case against Dominion voting systems. But they were too antagonistic to Trump. Got it. But unlike other Fox hosts, Baier and MacCallum were known to engage in tougher questioning of the former president, and Trump's aides warned that they'd press him on disavowing political violence and whether he planned to engage in political retribution if he were to win re-election, Eisenstadt reports. But Trump wasn't, quote, taking prep for the telecast seriously. He'd basically be winging it. This is the key part. Quote, about 30 minutes before the town hall was due to start, a senior aide started getting text messages from a person on the inside at Fox. Holy shit, the team thought. They were getting images of all the questions Trump would be asked and the planned follow-ups down to the exact wording. Jackpot. This was like a student getting a peek at the test before the exam started, Eisenstadt writes. Baier and MacCallum, quote, planned to ask Trump if he planned to divest from his businesses if he won and whether the party was taking a risk nominating him given his indictments. They planned to, quote, press Trump to, quote, disavow political violence and ask him if his White House, quote, would be focused on retribution. Quote, Trump was pissed, Eisenstadt writes, as he felt the questions were, quote, like attacks designed to put him on the defensive. But, quote, with questions in hand ahead of the telecast, the team, quote, workshopped answers. Eisenstadt told CNN the anecdote was based on, quote, multiple people with direct knowledge of the event, and he was fully confident in the reporting. Asked about the account, a Fox spokesperson said, quote, while we do not have any evidence of this occurring, and Alex Eisenstadt has conveniently refused to release the images for fact-checking, we take these matters very seriously and plan to investigate should there prove to be a breach within the network. The spokesperson also refuted the characterization of Baier being, quote, golf buddies with Trump, saying the two have only played a handful of games over the past decade. Incoming White House Communications Director Stephen Chung did not directly address the book's claims regarding the town hall, but said in a statement to CNN, quote, Trump was the most accessible and transparent candidate in American history, and it's a big reason why he won in historic fashion. So that's the report, friends. Now, Again, that's bad enough because if true, it further undermines Fox's journalistic credibility to the extent that it had any to begin with or had any in the aftermath of their $787 million unprecedented settlement to Dominion voting systems for signal boosting Donald Trump's 2020 defamatory election lies. But Media Matters also points some things out as well. So we're going to look at some of their reporting on this topic. While it's unclear who might have had access to the town hall questions, there is no shortage of Fox employees who value Trump's political success over questions of journalistic integrity. The network effectively fused with Trump's first-term White House, as several network hosts served as advisors, and a revolving door opened up between Fox and his administration. The network's fawning coverage of his 2024 campaign helped him win the GOP primary and the general election, and he has since named 17 current or former Fox staffers to top posts in his second administration. Let's see. For his part, Trump subsequently claimed that a campaign receiving the questions from a news outlet source before a high-profile event should trigger serious consequences for the host outlet. This is the big part. Following his disastrous September 2024 debate performance, Trump alleged on his Truth Social platform that, quote, people are saying that Comrade Kamala Harris had the questions from fake news ABC. I would say it is very likely. He went on to claim that if that were the case, ABC's license should be terminated. And it goes on to provide the tweet. The former president's claims were total garbage and a reflection of his poor information diet. Trump subsequently made clear he was running with claims of a random ex-poster whose profile stated black insurrectionists, I follow back true patriots, who claimed to be in possession of an affidavit from an ABC whistleblower, which alleged that the Harris campaign had given sample questions. ABC categorically denied black insurrectionist claims, and the documents he eventually released was rife with inconsistencies, which did not stop several prominent MAGA influencers and Fox Business host Maria Bartiromo from running with it. The Associated Press subsequently revealed that, quote, black insurrectionist was a white man who has repeatedly been accused of defrauding business partners and lenders. Trump's threats of government retaliation, however, are deadly serious. When Brendan Carr, a Republican FCC member and author of Project 2025's chapter on the commission, was asked about the controversy during a House hearing, he, quote, would not answer if he believed that the FCC had grounds to revoke the ABC license after the debate. Trump has since named Carr to replace the current FCC chair, and Carr subsequently suggested in a letter to Bob Iger, CEO of ABC's parent company Disney, that his FCC would closely scrutinize ABC's affiliate agreements. So let's think about this, folks. Trump has repeatedly threatened to use lawfare as a citizen, as a very wealthy, very influential private citizen, and also the levers of state power, including the DOJ and FCC, to go after elements of the media that he thinks is dishonest or too critical of him. And he has very well-placed influential sycophants who will be running these agencies who are signaling that they are inclined to do just that. And yet, we have this bombshell report suggesting that every accusation is a confession. There's no evidence that Vice President Harris received information in advance of ABC, as we discussed in the Media Matters report, but there seems to be at least some evidence and a credible allegation that Fox fed Trump questions in advance. And it's interesting that Stephen Chung did not refute it, did not deny it. Maybe that was an omission, or perhaps it was a suggestion that there's some veracity to the claim, because ABC categorically denied giving Harris questions in advance. Fox says, well, we have no evidence, but we're going to look into it. And Chung says nothing about it. So here's the bottom line. It wouldn't be the first time that MAGA has pointed fingers on a particular issue. And it turns out that they're guilty of the very sort of behavior that they're calling out. And more often than not, the people that they're accusing are not guilty of that sort of behavior. But this is a pretty big deal, and it's something that should be taken seriously. And we should also be posing this question to MAGA Republicans every chance we get. Where did you fall on Trump threatening ABC and CBS and other media outlets? And if you supported that, do you support threats against Fox News's business license or Fox News's business operations? President Biden is still president for the next 12 days. Should he, use the powers of the federal government to begin an investigation, an inquiry? Should he threaten to do so against Fox News? Food for thought. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.